I request Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, DSNLU, to felicitate Shri Muttama Shetty Srinivas Rao Garu, Honorable Minister for Tourism, Culture and Youth Advancement, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you, sir. On the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, I request His Excellency Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India, to unveil the book titled as Remember, Martyrs of Indian Freedom Struggle, compiled by Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University. This is a compilation of freedom fighters who sacrificed themselves for freedom. Thank you, sir. I request Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University, to introduce His Excellency Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India. Okay. Thank you, sir. I request our chief guest, His Excellency Shri Muppavarupu Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India, to address the gathering.
Shri Muttama Shetty Srinivas Rao Garu, Honorable Minister, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Professor S. Surya Prakash Garu, Vice Chancellor, Professor K. Madhusudan Rao Garu, Registrar, and local MLA, Sri Annam Reddy Ajipraj, professors, other functionaries working in this university, my dear students, and the staff. It gives me immense pleasure to participate in the inauguration of Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav celebrations today. I am told that this university is celebrating the centenary of Sri Damodaram Sanjeevaya Garu, a lawyer, a freedom fighter, and the first Dalit Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in India. Incidentally, he was the youngest Chief Minister at that time. He also served as Minister for Labour in this Jawaharlal Nehru's cabinet. Sri Sanjeevaya ji is remembered for his honesty, integrity, and commitment to serving the nation selflessly. It is an honor that this university is named after such a great son of this great country. It is doubly auspicious for the university that you are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav and Sri Damodaram Sanjeevaya centenary celebrations at the same time. Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav marks the 75 years of our Indian independence. It is not only a time for celebration, but also an occasion to recall the struggles and sacrifice of all the celebrated and unsung heroes of our freedom struggle, and to pay tribute to them. As you know, we have a wonderful living document, Constitution of India, which guarantees our fundamental rights enforceable through courts. It is not only important to remember the fundamental rights, it is equally important, more important in the present context, to be conscious of the fundamental duties cast upon the people under Part 4A of the Constitution of India, Article 51A speaks about fundamental duties. I suggest to all the students, for that matter to all the people's representatives, and also people who are working in various walks of public life, to study, remember and practice fundamental duties. You cannot have a right without a duty. If everybody does follow the fundamental duties, then rights are assured. The violation of rights is happening because people are not sincerely performing their responsibility of performing their duties. This is an important thing that has to be remembered. The article says, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions. The national flag and the national anthem, Constitution, national flag and national anthem. To cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our freedom struggle. So it is not only a moral obligation, but a constitutional duty to cherish, follow the ideas that inspired our freedom struggle. I am happy that the university, the Vice Chancellor, have brought in a publication and got it released by me about our great freedom fighters. We should tell our youngster, the new generation, of the sacrifices made, the struggles foregone by thousands of countless freedom fighters across the country. Most of them are unsung because their history is not known to the people. Few people, their history is prominently published and spoken. It is time that the country as a whole, all the institutions, educational syllabus, political parties and governments, local, district, state and central government focus their attention on highlighting the sacrifice made by great sons of this great country to liberate this country. Not only that, the history, our syllabus, our textbooks must carry the life and teachings of these great people, the reformers who have reformed not only the freedom fighters but also the reformers, such as Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Kandukuri Veerasingam Pantulu, Gurujada Apparao. I am in this area. That's why I am mentioning the names. And the great Alluri Sitaramarazu, the great son of this great area. Their life, their teachings, their sacrifices should be highlighted so that the younger generation is inspired. This is what I want to say. One is first, follow the duties cast upon you, every citizen. What is Desha Bhakti? What is patriotism? Performing your duty is patriotism according to me. Desha Bhakti ante emiti? Evari pani vallu cheyadamu. Evari pani vallu cheste desam subhikshanga untundi, desam munduku velutundi, and desha prajalandaru సురక్షితంగా సుఖంగా సంతోషంగా ఉంటారు. हर एक नागरिक अपना काम, अपना कर्तव्य निभाना है. ये बहुत जरूरी है. This is very important for everyone. On this occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, I urge upon the people to follow their duties, to know their leaders, to know the history of this great country. Unfortunately, because of advent of colonial rule, the Britishers have ruled us, ruined us, looted us, cheated us, and ruined our minds also, some of our minds. So we feel they are great, and we don't know the greatness of our people. We were taught such history. Robert Clive the Great. What about Alluri Sitaramarazu? What about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj? What about the other great stalwarts? Their history, their life and their teachings and preachings were not given prominence. That is the reason for the younger generation to be misleaded. So one has to understand this. And also we must all commit ourselves, not because the Constitution says, otherwise also for the unity and integrity of the nation. Irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region, we are one. We are Indians. अलग भाषा अलग वेश फिर भी अपना एक देश. विविधता में एकता भारत का विशेषता. वेशम भाषा वेरेना मनमंता भारतीयुलम. This has to be remembered. It is meaningless. It is absurd to fight in the name of the caste among ourselves. Differentiate people of forward and backward. There is a constitutional protection which was enunciated because of suppression by certain sections. They has to be well protected. But at the same time, we must remember that we are Indians. We are equal citizens. Whether you are forward or backward, whether you are a Muslim or a Christian or a Hindu, you are all equal partners in the development of this country. You are all equal citizens. No law, no person, no organization should discriminate people on the basis of religion, region, caste. That's why I suggest everywhere, I am repeating it for the sake of youngsters, for the sake of the people. People must elect their leaders based on 4 C's: character, caliber, capacity and conduct. But unfortunately, some fellows who do not have those qualities, they are replacing it by other 4 C's. What are the other 4 C's? Caste, community, cash and criminality. This is an unfortunate state of affairs. So we must see to it that we go back to the value system. That's why I want the life of the great people to be told to our younger generation. The ultimate goal of the freedom struggle was to secure justice to the people. Not only from the oppressive rule, but also end discrimination. So we have to dedicate ourselves to see that we make the life of the people happy. The leaders, the lawmakers, the lawyers, everybody should work for the happiness of the people. Not only creating wealth, wealth alone is not sufficient. Taking care of the health, taking care of the education, taking care of the fundamental needs, providing access to justice to everybody, providing safety and security to individuals, their liberty, their expression, providing basic amenities like shelter, clothing, food, providing transport to every village, providing water to every person, providing transportation, providing road, providing electricity, providing affordable education, providing affordable health. These are the fundamental duties of any government and any civilized person. But unfortunately, I have been telling, people are taking to short term, make people happy. What is important is development than welfare. Development and welfare must go hand in hand. We must take care of the poorest of the poor. Gandhiji said, Dr. Ambedkar said, Antyodaya, Deendayal Upadhyaya has expounded that cause. Antyodaya, uplifting the poorest of the poor, जो अंतिम पंक्ति में बैठे, उनका उत्थान पहले होना चाहिए. ये बहुत जरूरी है. But now because of politics, I don't want to criticize any party. I don't belong to any party, but people are resorting to populism. Populism is not going to help the country in its development. As I told you, the basic needs of the people. After 75 years of independence, there are so many things we have achieved. Successive governments, this government, earlier government, previous governments, they all have done their best according to their ability. And we made progress. India is recognized and respected worldwide, but there are gaps. There is poverty, 25% of the people. There is illiteracy, 22% of the people. There is gender discrimination. There is no adequate representation of women in parliament, in assemblies, in Panchayat Raj. Of course, now at least 33% are coming in the Panchayat Raj. They are not given equal right to property. Why? Discrimination should end. And they should also end social discrimination. These are important things that has to be remembered, protected by all people. Justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. This is the democratic republic. And to secure all the citizens these things, is the duty of all the lawyers, the people who take to the profession. They should focus on this. They should really defend the people who needs to be defended, not the other offenders. Sometimes I wonder, I am also a law student, though I did not have the occasion to practice because immediately after I completed my law in the university, I was put inside the jail for 17 and a half months for no fault of mine. So my urge inside to defend not only safety and security, but also freedom of expression has got further strengthened. We should see to it that no government, nobody is able to defy the Constitution and then take away the liberties, justice from the people. That should be our aim. The legal fraternity should focus on the suppressed people, oppressed people, people who have been discriminated. The poor, they have to be given the legal aid. I am not saying that everything can be given free, but have sort of a consideration for those sections. That should be the part of your profession when you become lawyers. And legal fraternity should be in the forefront. The students must be trained to become the change agents and bring about transformation. The Prime Minister gave a 3-line advice: reform, perform and transform. Transformation of the nation. Transformation in every walk of life. In everybody's thinking, in their attitude. There has to be transformation. World is changing faster, moving faster. We cannot lag behind. Once upon a time we were known as Viswa Guru. ప్రపంచానికే గురువుగా భారతదేశం ఒకప్పుడు గుర్తించబడింది, ప్రపంచం చేత కీర్తించబడింది. విదేశీ పాలన వలన మనము కొంత ఆత్మవిశ్వాసాన్ని కోల్పోయాం, ప్రగతి పదంలో వెనకబడ్డాం. ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళా తిరిగి అవకాశం వచ్చింది. ఈ అవకాశాన్ని మనం సద్వినియోగపరచుకోవాలి. On the occasion of the 75 years of Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav, let us have an understanding of what we have achieved. What is our aim? What are our objectives? Are we fulfilling them? What are the gaps? It is the duty of everybody in the system to see that justice and entitlements of the people reach them directly, without dilution, without deviation. This is very important. But many of these schemes have come in that regard. Direct benefit transfer, no need to stand in a queue, no need to wait for your pension, no need to wait for your scholarship, no need to many things. If this delay can be avoided, then poor people think that is the real freedom to them. That is the real freedom to them. So delivery mechanism. I got up on the IAS officer the other day. I was addressing the Indian Institute of Public Administration. The focus of the administration should be on avoiding delay, diversion, dilution, and reaching out the people direct. It should go into their account. Why should one go around the collector office, Tehsil office? Why should one go behind MRO for each and everything? People should go to them. Officers should go to them. We must see to it that the system, the legal fraternity should be in the forefront to enforce such a system. It's a fundamental assured once the government passes a law in parliament, in assembly, that is to be delivered. And if it is not delivered, the legal fraternity should get into action. My dear friends, youngsters, while fully leveraging alternative dispute redressal mechanism, there is a need to avoid frequent adjournment of cases. I wonder how many adjournments are given, how much time is being taken for settling the cases. Civil cases, 22 years, 25 years, reaching the Supreme Court, High Court, every time adjournment. I feel that the time has come and we should see to it in future. There should not be more than second adjournment at all. If that is possible, only if the legal fraternity is committed, the judiciary is committed, the people, all of this work. How can you go on hearing a case, hearing, adjourning, in between retiring, and people getting tired? You are retired and people are tired. But still, solution is not found. Really, I'm telling you, people are getting tired. Then they will become disillusioned. They will get disgusted. So it is the duty of the legal fraternity to see that delays are avoided. Judicial vacancies are filled up. Infrastructure is created for the institutions, for the courts and other bodies. That is the focus. That should be the focus of central and state government. And then it is cast upon the duty of every judge must be evaluated about his performance, how many judgments he has given, how many days he has taken to deliver the judgment. Every advocate has to be performed, how many less adjournments he has taken. Less adjournment he has taken. How he has really contributed for the speedy justice. These should be the evaluation methods. New thinking has to come in that direction. New thinking has to become an advocate general, an attorney general, or a solicitor general, or a government pleader should be appointed on such a basis on his performance, on his really adhering to the spirit of the Constitution. We are an ancient civilization. Our forefathers have lived for long and they have set such standards, values, culture, ethics. These are all equally important. Along with the law, respect the civilization, respect the culture, respect your traditions. Then the country's name and fame will further go up. We are oldest civilization, as I was telling you, Egypt, Greece, Athens, Roman, they are also. But where are they today? Whereas India is now being recognized, respected everywhere. Because this land, this water, this air has something special. There is a talent among these. See, multinational companies, many of them are led by Indians. Why? There is a talent. This talent has to be recognized.